In this, we'll see the mobile hacking. Basically, the mobile hacking in the sense here, the mobile phones that what we are going to use. In that, to run that mobile phones, we used to use this Android, iOS, Windows, and some other BlackBerry as a operating systems or platforms to work with the mobile phones. So mostly the 82% of the world mobile phones are made with the Android operating system, and rest around 12% to 15% are around with the iOS operating system. That is Apple iOS. It's a proprietary operating system. While coming to the Windows, there are very less number of low number of and mobile platforms, mobile devices are there which are using the Windows operating system. There exists BlackBerry. BlackBerry is it's a different kind of phone environment. However, we are mainly focusing on Android and iOS based mobile platforms in this lecture. So to move to the next topic, first of all, we'll see the OWASP, that is Open Web Application Security Projects, top 10 mobile risks. The first mobile risk is improper platform usage. Here, the improper platform usage is in the sense, platform in the sense the operating system or the firmware that is installed in the mobile phone. So here the first one is improper platform usage in the sense, there may be with the default permissions. That means the platform may be with the default permissions, or there may be a misusing of the identity, or the application program interfaces APIs that are in the platform maybe somewhat with some vulnerabilities, and some keychain APIs may also be considered for tampering. So these are the various possibilities of the improper platform usage with which the risk may be avoided. Next one is insecure data storage. That is, some of the mobile platforms will store data in a secured fashion, that is by encryption. Sometimes it is very easy by data cable and any other medium to leak the data. Sometimes insecure storage may be available, or sometimes if the phone was lost and the one who got that phone may get the data, and whenever this phone was lost, and if he tries to get the data out, then entire your sensitive information which is stored in the mobile phone can be leaked out. And for that only nowadays many mobile phones uh, delete the data whenever anyone try to what you call that is, they might have done mistakenly that wrong patterns of the during the entry screen, or wrong passwords during the entry screen. So whenever the wrong patterns or wrong passwords were entered for at least around 4 to 5 times, the data will be all automatically swept from the mobile phone. So these kind of things were also placed there. Next one is identity theft. Sometimes may also lead to the phone compromise, and sometimes damaging of the reputation, and what you call conducting of frauds, that may also a kind of security threat that will arise because of the insecure data storage. Next one is insecure communication. Obviously, the mobile phone has to communicate with any of the hotspot devices, or maybe getting the internet from the mobile service providers, such as the mobile service providers such as Geo or BSNL or Airtel or any other thing. So in during this process, you use browser and you may use applications or apps, etc. So in that terrain, improper use of the secure socket layer version (SSL) version may also compromise your mobile device. Sometimes weak negotiations and poor handshake of the mobile phone with the Wi-Fi device or hotspot may also lead to security threats. And sometimes some mobile phones will send the data in clear text, that also lead to what you call the insecure or raising of the security threats. Sometimes insecure authentication will also lead to the security threat, like failing to identify the end users, failing to maintain the user's identity, sometimes weak session management. So these are the things which will lead to this insecure authentication. Next is use of insufficient cryptography. That means the cryptographic methods might have not properly implemented, or they may use outdated cryptography techniques, and sometimes placing of the malwares, and even though the malwares are placed, the data may have not properly following the cryptographic procedures. So these kind of things may also lead to the security risks. Next is insecure authorization. That is failed authorization decisions on the client side may also lead to security threats. Sometimes client code quality, that is the code quality that you have written and included into the mobile phone, may also lead to the security threat, such as client code means the person, for example, in the case of Android, he may code in Java programming, during Java programming, or he may code in some other high level language like C++ or something. Whenever they code in that languages, if they might have used unbounded memory allocations, such as string buffers or string memories or dynamic memories, where there is a chance of buffer overflows, then obviously the buffer overflows can be caught by the vulnerability scanning, and thereby that may be exploited to capture or to take the control of the mobile phone, or to perform some security attack on the mobile phone. So client side code level implementation issues may be counted in this. Buffer overflows may be counted in this. Sometimes string formats and some other integer formats or floating point value formats, these may also lead to some vulnerabilities. Finally, the things like code tampering is there. The code tampering is one security threat that was identified. That means here the attacker may modify the code, or sometimes the system APIs may be replaced, modifying applications or data resources, and sometimes changing the content of the memory dynamically, sometimes patching the already existing applications. If there is no improper patch was there, then it may also be leading to the security threats. Next, method of hooking and local resource modification, dynamic memory allocation. These may lead to some security threats. And sometimes, whenever any application program APK, which is the installation module of Android platform, is given to you, they may do reverse engineering. That means the attacker may analyze the code binary, and they may get the idea of how what is the internal code structure, and he may inject some binary code, whatever he want, or for that he may use popular tools the IDA Pro or Hooper tool or O tool. These are the various popular tools that are used for the reverse engineering purpose. Next one is extraneous functionality. It is related to the hidden backdoor functionalities, and sometimes disabling of the two-factor authentication and passwords in hybrid applications, disabling of passwords. These are the things will come under the extraneous functionality. If any one of these thing is not followed properly, automatically the mobile phone will be having some risks, and that risk may be exploited by the attacker. So these are the top mobile phone risks that were identified by the OWASP and listed as top 10 mobile risks. So we have seen the top 10 mobile risks. Now we'll see what are the sources with which these mobile attacks may happen. So here attack surface, see, because mobile phone will not work in its entirety. Obviously, the mobile phone has to take the signals from the network, that may be a service provider, or it has to whatever the data you access or whatever the data you send out, that must be processed through some service centers or some centers. So obviously there exist many other infrastructures involved in the mobile phones. So attack surface, here first attack surface we'll consider is a network. So in this network, Wi-Fi will be there, which will act as an access point to connect to your mobile phone. So Wi-Fi here, because of the poor encryption or weak encryption, sometimes the attack may be possible. And a rogue access point, as we have seen in the Wi-Fi or wireless hacking, rogue access point installations and accessing to the rogue access point is also lead to mobile attack. And packet sniffing, man in the middle, session hijacking, DNS poisoning, SSL strip, fake SSL certificates. These are the things which are possible via wireless networks. And whenever you consider the data center where the data processing will happen, and whenever whatever you want to store on the cloud from your mobile phone, obviously it has to pass through the data centers, in which you will find the web servers, platform vulnerabilities. So the platform may be outdated and with maybe with some vulnerabilities, identified vulnerabilities. Sometimes server misconfiguration, cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, weak input validations, and brute force attacks. These are all things which are possible, which will make the mobile phones to be uh, prone to the attacks. Next one is sometimes obviously the databases which are whenever you use the application or any web application that you access via the browser. So obviously that particular data handling will be done with the help of databases. So SQL injection, privilege escalation, data dump, OS command execution. These are quite common. How we have seen in the conventional wired or wireless devices. Same thing can also be applicable because these are the part of the mobile infrastructure. While coming to the uh, other level of things like there may be other type of attacks that may be possible with respect to the other infrastructures uh, like browsers that you use in the um, mobile phones. Browser in sense that you may use Opera browser or you may use the Chrome browser, that are possible and included in the mobile phones. By with their help also you will get it. And sometimes you may also get the attacks with the help of with the system that what is there available in the mobile phone. So usually the attack surfaces at the mobile device level are browser. Via browser also the attacks may be performed are phishing and framing, clickjacking, man in the middle, buffer overflows, data caching, or sometimes via system there is a weak password maybe there. Physically they may access your and go through your mobile phone. And in case of Apple iOS operating system, there is a procedure called jailbreaking and Android routing. So routing should not be done. Routing, if the routing has done, then so many you are inviting many attacks. That we'll see afterwards why it is like that. Sometimes passwords and data accessibility is very easy, and there is no encryption maintained in the data storage, and easy accessibility of the SMS via baseband attacks and smishing attacks, and improper apps and allowing the third party apps to install without verification. If such kind of options are enabled, then also it may you are inviting the uh, threats into the mobile phone, like sensitive data storage by the apps, no encryption maintained by the apps, improper SSL validations, configuration manipulations, dynamic runtime injection, privilege escalations, including of malwares, including of bloatware. So these are the various various ways with which that attacks may enter into, or attacks may be possible, or maybe the system may be compromised. Here, system in the sense here mobile system. Let we'll see the Android architecture. The Android architecture is Android operating system is built upon the Linux kernel, and Linux kernel is loaded with the display drivers, camera drivers, flash memory drivers, power management drivers, audio drivers, and all. On top of these libraries will be there. The OpenGL, FreeType, SQLite, these various libraries will be available, and Android runtime will be available here along with the libraries, which is core libraries and virtual machine libraries. And here this is the Android runtime. On top of this libraries, application frameworks were developed, which is for the activity management, window management, view system, that is Android web view, like kind of thing, technology manager, resource manager, location manager, notification manager, package manager. Then on top of this, the applications will be installed like Home, Google Home, or browser, or configuration screen, screen management, notification management. These kind of things, related applications will be installed. And here the applications may be may be saved or installed from the store manager. That it may be the Android Google Play Store, or maybe from any other Play Store that is the that is supported by the original equipment manufacturer, maybe your manufacturer of the company. So this is general architecture of the Android. So here types of Android attacks. Let us see now. So untrusted APKs, untrusted APK in the sense the APKs that are that you have installed from outside, not from the Play Store or maybe original equipment manufacturer store. So these are called untrusted APIs. Attackers lure users to download applications from the untrusted sources. These APKs may contain malicious software inside them, giving the attacker remote access to the mobile devices when APK is installed by the user. Next one is via SMS also. The attacks may be performed. The user may come across a suspicious SMS giving them big bounties like you have won the lottery, click here to claim that lottery amount, etc. So that particular link in the message, they may be redirected to the malicious websites giving away their sensitive information, or may lead to financial losses. So next one is the email. Phishing mails may be redirected the user to malicious websites, compromising the user's detail. Spam mails may steal the information of the users. Next one is spying. Some applications may spy the mobile users and report to the remote attackers. App sandboxing issues is nothing but sandboxing is the process of testing an application in a limited resource environment against various threats and attacks. Majority of the majority of the security devices used to work in sandbox, so they won't allow the attacks. That means there will be a separate environment which is completely different from the regular environment. If sandboxing has issue, it means that malicious applications can bypass this mechanism. Next is routing. Routing is done for increasing speed and performance of the Android device. This is not a recommended solution by the Android authorities. When a phone is rooted, it loses its warranty and may open the door for various malware and allow the attackers to take control of the device remotely. So routing, in case of Android, it is said to be routing. In case of Apple iOS, it is said to be jailbreaking. So both are the same concept. So both should not be done at all. So routing should not be done, and routing is not a recommended one in case of Android. If the Android device is rooted, even though the warranty is expired, if the Android device is rooted, then it is simply welcoming all the kind of malwares and attacks to attack the Android device. Next, we will see the iOS architecture. The iOS architecture in which the core operating system will be there. So next is first one is Coca Touch. That means it's a layer which most application interact with. It is just like an application layer in the Android operating system. So in this Objective C API for app development will be available. Next one is media services. In this the media layer, which is the media services, here graphics, audio, video will be available, and core services, which are like system services. Below the media layer, there is a core service layer which provides services to the upper layers. These core services layers may be databases, cloud computing, etc. Next is core operating system based on Mac OS. Finally, the core OS layer. Most of the Mac OS X component are in this. This is the low level and closely work with the computation instructions like mission instructions. This is the architecture of iOS. Let us see the types of iOS attacks. As I just now told you that routing in the Android is just like jailbreaking in the Apple iOS. So jailbreaking is nothing but jailbreaking may put the device at risk. It is done to gain administrative privileges and to download third-party application extensions, etc. So the device may lose its warranty, get infected with malware, drop in performance, etc. There are three ways to perform this jailbreaking. Threaded, that is, after a device is jailbroken, it will no longer have a patched kernel. So we cannot update it or we cannot do anything. It might go to a partially functioning state and requires re-jailbreaking to use the with the same computer. Next is semi-threaded. That means when the device is turned off and on, it will be no longer be jailbroken. The device can be used for normal functions. Unthreaded means the jailbreaking has not done. The device once jailbroken remains jailbroken, and kernel will be patched completely after the reboot. So these are the three ways available in the jailbreaking. So like how rooting is avoided in the Android based mobile phones, the same way jailbreaking is also avoided. It is recommended to avoid jailbreaking in the Apple iOS operating systems. So here, these are the jailbreaking tools available: Electra, Cydia, Yalu. So these are like this. So many tools are there. These are the very powerful tools that can be used for iOS jailbreaking. And here are the Android hacking tools that we'll see. AndroRat. So AndroRat is a very famous Android hacking tool. So this can be downloaded from the GitHub as a application APK package, and with this tool you will get the contacts, and you can also do vibrate the phone from your command from your computer. You can also get the call logs from your computer. That is from the desktop app. You can directly connect to the Android RAT via any network medium, and you can do all these tasks. Open an URL on the default browser, get all messages that are available in the phone, send a text message, location by GPS or network can be done, do a toast, and monitoring receiving messages in live, you can do it, streaming video, you can make it, monitoring phone state in live, there is call received, call sent, stream sound from microphone, and take a picture from the camera. These are all the activities that you can do with this Android hacking tool called AndroRat. This you can download from the GitHub. Just to type the AndroRat in the Google search, you will get it. Next tool that is very famous is Hackcode. It is especially used for reconnaissance and security feed scanning, etc. With this, you can also perform the Google hacking, scanning, SQL injection, and DNS lookup using this tool. Next is Janty is there. This is also a kind of Android hacking tool. Next is CSplot, which will catalog local hosts, install backdoors, detect vulnerabilities, determine Wi-Fi passwords. These are the specialties of this tool. Next is Face Sniff, which is especially sniff the social media sites, such as Twitter and Facebook. Shark root, it is just like a Wireshark for Android. How we use Wireshark on the regular computers, like that we can use it on Android device. So it is especially used for the traffic sniffer, works on rooted Android devices. It is based upon the TCP dump. Droid sheep operates as router to oversee Wi-Fi network traffic, gain access to active sessions, especially to the social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Next one is a Droid box, hashes for APK packages, SMS calls, network traffic. These are the things under the Droid box. So these are the specializations that a tool consisting of, or the special features that tool consisting of. Next one is APK inspector. It is most commonly used by many people for especially for reverse engineering of app code, app license, and credit deletion. And Nmap is a network mapper that is commonly used in our computers. That can also be used on this, and a Nmap Android version is also available, which works on the rooted and non-rooted devices. Android root tools. We have seen previously we have seen previously the iOS jailbreaking tools. Now it is Android routing tools. One-click root, rescue root, Kingo root. These are the tools that are especially used for the our Android routing. Apart from this, mobile phones with Android and iOS, because Windows and BlackBerry is also there. I am not discussing Windows and BlackBerry in this lecture because the usage of the devices Windows and BlackBerry are very limited in the market. The mostly Android and iOS devices are very largely used, so we are mainly focusing on those devices. Another concept in the mobile devices is bring your own device, BYOD. So bring your own device refers to the trend of employees using personal devices to connect to their organizational network and access work-related systems and potentially sensitive or confidential data. Personal devices would include smartphones, personal computers, tablets, or USB devices or USB drives. It is just like in earlier in industries or in organizations, they used to provide their computer. You are supposed to use only that computer, or you are supposed to use only the device that they have provided. But here, bring your own devices. We are going to provide the networking infrastructure. You bring your own device, you connect to the network and do the work. But whenever multiple devices are coming and which are of different configurations, obviously different security flaws may be available. So how to overcome such security flaws? Whenever they bring the mobile devices or this kind of small laptops or smartphones or tablets, then how to manage the security? That is also part of the mobile security. But with the help of BYOD, organization no need to spend much lot on the infrastructure. However, they will provide only the security based infrastructure so that any device with any configuration with a heterogeneity of the hardware, they can communicate and interact. So this BYOD is a very good idea because usually the employees or the workers used to love or like to work with their own devices, provided the networking infrastructure is available instead of using the organizational computer. So because of this increased productivity may be increased, reduced IT and operations cost, improved mobility and appeal. Appeal in the sense the appearance of the free work environment that can be observed in this particular bring your own device. But in this, the main thing is the personal devices, cloud including smartphones and personal computers, tablets. Whenever this mobile device has come into the picture, how to secure the BYOD. So BYOD security guidelines, who pays for the device and data coverage that need to be regulated, and what regulations are in play that also to be considered. Measures for securing devices, what are the different configurations or what are the generic configuration or secure configuration that you have established at the networking level. then where is the data stored? Whether it is stored on locally or cloud. So whether you are maintaining a local server to maintain the data, or you are directly connecting to the cloud and saving the data. Do we need an agreement with employees? That means there is an agreement that you should not use the network for the harmful causes and this kind of thing. Whenever particular username and password is given to you, you are asked to sign a agreement. That means that your terms and conditions will be mentioned in that agreement, and you are supposed to sign, and you should bound to the terms and conditions. Next is safeguard of device being compromised, and what is the support, who is going to provide the support, and how frequently this support is provided if in case of the personal devices when it's connected to the network was got come into the problem, or anything to be improved in the networking. And what about the privacy guidelines? So this privacy and related issues should also be mentioned in the agreement whenever the employee and organization is going to sign off. So tips for securing devices and reducing the BYOD risk are like password protected access control to be maintained, control wireless networks connectivity, control application access, keep software up to date, backup the device data, remote wipe service, that is location tracking, need to be disabled. That means from the remote places, wipe services like wiping of the data from this the devices, this kind of thing to be disabled. No personal financial information to be shared in the network. No free apps will be there. Next is mobile antivirus or anti-malware scans must be done, and the use of the mobile device managers for connecting to the organizational network. So these are the 10 security tips that are provided for maintaining this or for reducing the BOYD risk. Now we'll see the Android attacks countermeasures. So first of all, the first recommendation is do not root your phone. Once you root your phone, automatically you are inviting the attacks. Do not download applications from the untrusted third-party sources. Do not click on suspicious emails. Do not open suspicious SMS. Use strong passwords or patterns. Use device administration API to set up password policy, remote wipe, etc. Do not store passwords on phone. Update the phone operating system regularly. Use strong antivirus. So these are the countermeasures that are recommended for avoiding the Android attacks. While coming to the iOS attacks, do not jailbreak the device, as we have seen here. Do not root your phone like this in iOS. Do not jailbreak the device. Apply strong encryption. Always connect to safe networks. Follow common security guidelines. Do not open the links or attachments from unknown sources. So this is the thing related to the mobile hacking. Here we have seen the general description of the mobile and what are the various security threats, from which sources the security threats may be possible, what are the consequences of those security threats. Obviously, majority of the security threats, since the mobile phone is not an isolated one, which are related to the network, data, service, other databases, other service centers, etc. So obviously, any of the attack which has happened in that may also come in the mobile phone also, because it is connected. It may connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot, or it may connect to the access point, may connect to the general networks, etc. So the while pertaining to the mobile phone, the attacks may be possible with the help of the vulnerabilities that may be identified at the system level or operating system level, or at the application level that are installed in the mobile phones. So in view of this, we have seen the Android architecture, iOS architecture, Android attacks and iOS attacks, countermeasures for Android attacks, and countermeasures for iOS attacks. And also we have seen the Android hacking tools, and in the Android hacking tools, We have seen several tools in this. In those tools, AndroRat is a very famous tool that can be used for performing the various activities ranging from the scanning of the SMSs to that is sending of the remote SMSs to wiping of the entire data. While coming to the Apple iOS operating system, jailbreaking is the serious serious concern in the Android in the Apple iOS operating system. To do that, we have seen various jailbreaking tools, and we discussed those jailbreaking tools. In the next lecture, we will see how we can create a vulnerable application via Metasploit, and how can we deploy that particular application, which is called APK, which is a executable one in the Android platform, and how can we port this APK to the Android platform, and how to exploit that vulnerable application. We can also say this is the Venom application that what we have seen in the Metasploit previously in the system hacking. So how can we port it to the Android system, and how to exploit and how to get the sensitive data from the mobile phone. So we'll see this in practically in the next lecture.